All right, Charles, can you tell us how you prepare your pigeons before basketing day?
I think a lot of people here as well, when they come back on a Sunday.
Kamusta mga par? Nasa part 3 na tayo ng interview natin kay Charles Dickson, ang 2 times Scottish National Average Champion. At kung hindi nyo pa napapanood yung part 1 at part 2 ay baka naman. At kung maubusan man kayo ng dugo, kaka-nosebleed, may Red Cross naman na maasahan. O ito pa yung isa papa-nosebleed at Chara.
I just want your body, I just want your body, body.
I think a lot of people here as well, when they come back on a Sunday, Monday I don't let them out, I just let them recover. Tuesday I let them out, they have a bath, but either, depending on the weather, they will get at least 2 training tosses every week. As I was saying, I still keep the cocks and ends separate. I will single them up. When I'm going to a new race, a new training point, I'll liberate the cocks or hens first. But once they're at their laps, I'll usually go 50, 60 kilometers, and I'll single them up, and only a minute or 2 between them, because by the time that comes, they're already leaving straight away. They don't even circle round; they just go. So it doesn't take that long. But then I wait 12 minutes, and then I let the other sexes go. Single up. I like to get 45 minutes to an hour out of them. And you can tell by the Wednesday or Thursday in the condition. If I go to the same race, from here and go to an hour, which is 70 odd kilometers, I know they take anywhere between 48 minutes and 52 minutes. If they take longer than 52 minutes, I wonder why. So it lets me know if the pigeons are in good condition. If they're doing 48 minutes, I know they're right. So I'll do that either Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, I don't let them out. Maybe a short lap, I might just let them out. It depends on the weather, they've been getting the exercise. But Friday, I don't normally let them out. I'll feed them in the morning, only a light feed at lunchtime. And then when I put them together, they are really motivated. They're charging about, they're looking at each other. If you just give them a few minutes, then they start going in the bowls. And when I start the first laps, I don't give them a bowl, but once a couple of laps, I'll actually give them a bowl when they come back. As we talked about, I do use electrolytes. I will use a multivitamin. It really doesn't matter particularly what kind. I think Renz and I talked about before, the only vitamin they can't get from grain is B12. B12 comes from animals. And I do give them a B12 supplement when the laps get a bit longer. I'm not a big firm believer in a lot of supplements. I never gave any at all in the UK because they didn't really need it. I think here, yes, because of the terrain, the climate, they can actually get dehydrated. So, but electrolytes is the only thing I actually use. I do use glucose, honey, but I think a lot of the supplements are what we need, not what the pigeons need. Given supplements, majority of them will just pass through the body. It's only if they actually need it, they'll take it. I don't believe in popping a lot of pills. I don't think the pigeons actually need it. It doesn't do any harm. Only certain vitamins cause a problem. I think vitamin A, vitamin D, if you give too much, they can actually poison the pigeons. The B complex and things like that, the pigeons only take what they need and they'll pass it out. Obviously B12 improves the red blood cells, which helps the blood. I really limit how much I give them. I don't think it's always necessary. I do like imported. I like DeWeert's products and Ron Fried. I know Renz is a distributor for Ron Fried products, but he'll testify I do buy Ron Fried, and I bought Ron Fried before, so I do like Ron Fried products. I'm not a great lover of L-carnitine, and I know it's popular here, but I don't like the thought of building a pigeon up and then giving it a chemical to help convert the fat back into energy. I just don't think pigeons are particularly needed. I think the pigeons were getting thinner, and I don't want that. You know, after a hard race, you want them to build back up. It's okay for sprinting if you can use L-carnitine for sprinting, because you don't want fat pigeons. But when you want them to go away, sit in the basket for 2 days, and then fly 8 hours, 9 hours, you want a bit of muscle on them, a bit of fat on them. You can send a fat pigeon to a long distance race. Ours fly 16 hours, and when they come back, they've already lost a lot of weight. Why would you want to give them a chemical to burn more energy? It's not something I particularly believe in. I've never heard, especially long distance flyers, using L-carnitine to try and get their pigeons to win or do better. They do for sprinters, yes, but not distance pigeons. I do limit probiotics as well. One thing though, if you're using antibiotics, you have to give probiotics. We've had conversations before about antibiotics. It's not good for pigeons. I know it's the climate here and everything else, and I fell into the trap because I was going well, then I got salmonella, and I used antibiotics. It's all right for a race or a lap or two, but then the pigeons, they stop responding to it, so you end up having to keep putting more and more antibiotics in it. I'm trying to get away from that. I'm used to likes of yellow drops. I know it's something you've introduced here. Yellow drops is a disinfectant, aflatoxin. It's a disinfectant, it's not an antibiotic, and it clears the airways. I was finding I was creating more problems with using antibiotics. I never gave, in the UK, you do not get antibiotics. Only if you go to the vet with an ill pigeon will you get given an antibiotic, and quite often it's only for that one pigeon. You will not get to flock treat. I hear you can go to any poultry store and you can buy just about any antibiotic, and I think a lot of people fall into that trap. You have to be aware of what your pigeons, how healthy your pigeons are, but just routine treatment, routine coming back from laps and give them antibiotics, especially 1 day. I hear people giving antibiotics for 1 day, even into 2 days. But
yeah, that's prevalent here in the Philippines.
Yeah, antibiotics don't work like that. It doesn't do anything. Actually, you're just wasting time, money, and you could be damaging your pigeons, because 1 or 2 days doesn't work. And also, when they do get ill, the antibiotics won't work.
Yeah, because they get immune,
yeah,
right?
They get immune. Because you're given our organism that's causing the problem, slight doses, not enough to kill it, just to bring it down. That's what the idea is. But they then become immune to the antibiotic, and it's no longer effective. That's why they keep bringing out different kinds. And I'm a firm believer in you must weed out the weaklings. If I get even clocked pigeons from Santa Ana or the long distance race, if they've not done it quick enough or they're not winning, I don't keep them. And so I'm very strict on they've got to fly, they've got to race. If they're not in the first 50 a couple of times, I just don't keep them. You know, I wouldn't breed off the pigeons if they're not winning.
Well, you're well known for having fast pigeons.
I was fortunate that, like, the TG race, 40th place was my worst position.
The 40th place is the worst position.
Yeah, yeah. And I was, a couple of them I was 2 in the first 10 and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's what consistency. I know it's important to keep clocking, but coming from UK, Europe, it's high positions. So that's what you want. You want in the top 1%, but you expect your pigeons to be in the first 10%. If they're not in the first 10%, I've got a question mark against them. So they have to perform in the first 10%. So if we have a bad race and you get down to the third page, 100 and something, I'm not happy. To keep pigeons healthy, you've got to reduce stress. Stress is the biggest cause. My chickens. Is stress. Stress creates illness, and I told you a story about a vet. When he was in, he's a world-renowned vet. He's a top vet in the UK, and he explained that when the professor showed him, they tested a pigeon for coccygeal canker. When they tested for coccygeal canker, it was a certain count, and he walked around the classroom holding the same pigeon. 20 minutes later, he got them to retest it, and they're all going, "We tested it 20 minutes ago. You know, that pigeon doubled its coccygeal canker count just because of stress. They were carrying it around." And I've noticed people come to the club carrying pigeons. Even on the back of a moto, they're carrying their pigeons in their hand. The stress that pigeon's under, you're already making it ill. Then it's going into an overcrowded training. It goes training with far too many pigeons in it for me. And I know I'm not from the Philippines, but we're governed by animal cruelty. We would not be allowed to race if we did that. We'd be in trouble. So I would say everybody should try and get less pigeons in the crates. The crates spread disease, but also they create disease with the stress the pigeons are under. To avoid using antibiotics and all the other medications you have to use is less pigeons. Either in your pigeon loft, in crates, it's important to actually reduce stress levels on a pigeon. They're prey animals and they get stressed really easily. And if you're mishandling them and you're not holding them right, and I've seen them getting passed around before they even go to the races all amongst friends, that's not the way if you want to win. So that's one thing I would certainly say, reduce stress. Whether you can control in your loft, but certainly for the crates, that's one for the club owners, about how many pigeons that go in the crates. It's something I'm always complaining about. Try and reduce the antibiotics. I think one-day treatments is just pointless. You're creating a problem, you're not actually fixing the problem. And the biggest thing is get good pigeons. It doesn't matter what supplements you use or whatever, try and acquire the best pigeons. And sometimes it is just friends give you them or you buy pigeons. But it's like everything, watch where you buy pigeons. Go to a consistent loft that keeps consistently winning, keeps consistently clocking. Not just a one-off champion, but actually who's every race you know they're going to be in the mix by the end. That's the people you should try and acquire pigeons from. I'd like to thank my wife. She puts up with the pigeons. She actually enjoys it. She gives me a lot of stress if we don't win. But yeah, Kala is really good for when I have to train the pigeons. I'd like to thank Isidro Mendoza. He was my loft builder. He's really skilled. I would certainly recommend him. My good friends, Pogs, Dodgy, Willie, they used to be my drinking buddies, but I can't drink anymore. So we had a lot of good chats about pigeons. Arnold Salvador's been helping me with some ideas, and he's lent me pigeons, he's given me some pigeons. Jomar. I'm not going to try to pronounce Jomar's surname.
Jomar Lakindanum.
Yeah, I have a problem with that name, I always have done.
Jomar Big Water.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people helped me when I started. Ralph, how do you pronounce his surname?
Velasquez.
Yeah, he lent me pigeons recently. Ronald Gonzalez, he lent me pigeons, and I've actually acquired pigeons. I've got a really good cock there that's bred a lot of good pigeons for me. is from Ronald. Yeah, no, I've went from just a few friends. I've got what 1,100 on Facebook now, and so it's nice of them to join me and wish me well. But yeah, no, everybody. I just hope everybody enjoys their sport, and hopefully found this interesting.